We've all heard the saying, good girls finish last, and I'm here to confirm that it is 100% true because nothing good comes from being the nice girl all of the time. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to stop people pleasing, how to put your boundaries in place with a big B, and how you're going to step into your main character energy because at the end of the day, it is your story, it is your show. We're in this pivotal point in the year where 5 months have passed. A lot of us are revisiting our goals, revisiting how we want to show up, and you may be going through a summer glow up. You are working on your mind, your body, all of the good things. And one of the key components to understand when it comes to transforming your life is you're going to have to put some boundaries in place. And with any glow up or any transformation, you have to get real about how you show up in your own life and how you show up in the life of others. So let's talk a little bit about what people pleasing actually looks like. And chances are, if you've clicked on this video, you'll be able to relate to one of these points that I am talking about. The first point that I jotted down is the fact that you feel like you have to over explain everything. You give everyone the blueprint or the play by play when it comes to your life. Whether you're making a decision, whether you're moving, whether you're talking to someone, not talking to someone, whether you're going to try something, and chances are it's TMI, too much information, but you only over explain because point two, you need validation. And validation means that you require the stamp of approval from friends, family, co-workers, partners. For some of us, we may have grew up in a household where your parents or your caretakers, they required you to tell them what you were doing, for them to approve it, to say yes, to say no, for them to tell you if it's a good idea or not. Chances are it's going to transfer over into your adult life where now you're asking friends or your partners for a yes or no instead of making your own decisions. And here's the thing, when it comes to needing validation, I feel like there's a fine line between people pleasing, lack of confidence, and simply just wanting the opinion of a friend or a parent. For example, let's say you're going to an event and you've picked an outfit, now you're ready to put your shoes on, and you're like, I kind of like the gold one, I kind of like the white one, but I'm not sure. You send that picture to a friend. In your mind, you're kind of like, yeah, the white ones look so good with this. This is what I'm wearing. But you just want a extra opinion to confirm what you're thinking. There's a difference between that and, for example, wanting to purchase a car or stay with a partner or break up with a partner or wanting to move where you're texting 10 people, giving them all of the details, all of the pros and cons. Like you're dependent on that group to help you make a decision versus like, hey, a shoe, you're just like, I'm not really sure. It's a little tricky when it comes to needing validation because at some point or another, we've asked somebody for their opinion. The third point that I wrote down, which should have been point one, to be honest, is the fact that you feel guilty for saying no. This is the number one people pleaser sign, okay? You're someone who could be on your last leg, your last breath, have nothing to give, are exhausted, maybe didn't even sleep the night before, but you're showing up for everybody. You don't want to be labeled as the bad friend or the bad daughter or the bad partner or coworker. So instead of putting yourself first, you say yes. But for example, and I hope this doesn't trigger PTSD because this whole experience was wild. So I got hired into a position where I had to report directly to one manager. There was an associate, there was me, the lead, and the manager. So basically I was owning communication with these two people. After a couple of weeks in, my manager pulls me aside and he's just like, hey, can you work on Saturday? So of course I'm like, well, I wasn't told that there are Saturday hours. I didn't even know that this was a thing. And he was like, well, due to the client that we have, they do have Saturday and Sunday hours, so we're required to work that. Are you able to help or no? His attitude, the vibe was just off already, and I did say no. I'm happy that I stood my ground, but that had repercussions. He made my life a living hell. I'm talking about unnecessary tasks, becoming his personal assistant, being short and somewhat condescending with me. And because I was only reporting to him, there was no one that I felt like at the time I could talk to about this. So ridiculous. And eventually he weighed me down and I ended up working weekends. Now, the me here now could never, would never. I would throw in the towel the same day because what are we talking about? Why are you talking to me like that? Like, who do you think you are? And it happens like that sometimes. Sometimes you don't fully know your worth. Sometimes you haven't stepped into your power. People pleasing shows up in different ways and different emotions for all of us. But for me, I remember feeling so anxious and so drained when I will have to interact with certain people or after I did certain things. It's like there was always a little voice in my head that's just like, say no, or not today, or get to it when you can. With any process, there's phase one, which in this case is self awareness. So you may recognize you're a people pleaser or you have people pleasing traits, right? Now let's get into phase two, which is fixing it. The number one lesson that I've learned, besides obviously putting yourself first, is you have to have boundaries in place, meaning with every person, with every interaction, relationship, or connection, you have to be the person to draw the line or decide how far you're going to go in a situation. And it's kind of like a muscle. You have to train yourself to not automatically say yes or to automatically be the girl or the guy that shows up for everyone, especially if you're someone that has done this all of your life, your adult life. It ends today. Something that helped me recognize these patterns was therapy, which is why I'm grateful that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Therapy can help you realize where certain habits come from, why boundaries are so uncomfortable, how to overcome it, and the most important thing for me was how to maintain your healthy relationships or even how to build new relationships. Therapy can even help with the fallout because, like we spoke about earlier, when you decide to revoke access or put boundaries in place, it will be the people closest to you that don't necessarily receive it well, and you may need support through that. What I like about BetterHelp is the fact that they make it so easy to get started on your therapy journey. All you have to do is fill out a quiz and you get matched with a licensed therapist quickly. And because this may be a new experience for you, you may get matched with a therapist that's not quite the right fit. You can switch at no additional cost. I also like the fact that the goal is for therapy to feel comfortable for you. So you can communicate in any way that you like, whether that's text message, phone call, or video call. So if you feel like the dynamics need to change in your relationships, you're feeling drained, exhausted, you're tired of people pleasing, and overall want to end the year stepping into a more confident version of yourself, therapy may be a good place to start. Click the link in my description or go to betterhelp.com/Amina for 10% off your first month of therapy. I'll never say it's easy, but after you put boundaries in place and you really solidify how you want to move through your relationships, things get so much easier and lighter. It's as if someone took a weight off of your shoulders because you're not pretending anymore. You've stepped into your main character energy and literally your life becomes about you. It's one of those things where you have to become okay with disappointing people. You may even have to become okay with losing connections because you're no longer the same. And a lot of the times, if the foundation of that relationship was already shaky, it wasn't meant to last anyway. There's so many people that I'm not in connection with anymore because they knew me as Amina, the girl I can go to get the thing done, the person I can count on. And like that's not necessarily a bad thing because I do genuinely love helping people and showing up for my people, but at the same time I was doing it in an unhealthy way. So it's kind of like there was no benefit for me. And like this is my life. Like I'm the main character. Maybe you may feel the same way. And with these changes, it's also important to remember that not everyone needs to understand you. It doesn't matter if they're your blood relative, if they're a friend, a coworker. Just because they're in proximity does not mean they're going to share a brain with you. I just wanted to create this quick little video to remind you that you deserve people pouring into you just as much as you pour into them. It is an equal exchange. That is how all relationships should be and could be, but you have to be the person person to put your foot down and decide, this is what I'm going to accept, this is what I'm not going to accept. At the end of the day, that is the whole point. That is the whole point, balance. And I think it kind of ties into standards, which we'll talk about in another video. But when you pour into yourself, you don't accept anything less. It doesn't matter from who it is. I need you to know that you are not hard to love because you finally put boundaries in place. You deserve rest. You deserve to be poured into just as strongly. A lot of healing starts happening when we stop asking, how do I make other people comfortable? And you start asking yourself, how do I actually feel? Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Also, comment down below if you related to anything that I said. I know this was a short one, but I will catch you all in the next video.